Greetings, one and all. This is Dr. Jonathan Ellerby. A lot of you don't know me, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown. I have a PhD in comparative religion, and I focused on transformation and healing in the world's religious, spiritual, and cultural traditions. I have a couple of best-selling books with Hay House. I got a couple of them right here. They're backwards on Facebook. And then I also have some audio programs and courses, and I've been doing this for 25 years professionally. Hard to imagine. And the reason why I'm telling you all that, aside from the fact that I hope that a lot of people that have never heard me before will hear this message today, I also want to say that today's message comes from a tremendous amount of real-life experience, research you might say, but also just the learning that comes from working with thousands of people over time, literally thousands of people. And the topic today is about the absolute significance, the absolute necessity of embracing the feminine consciousness if we as individuals, families, communities, or as a species, if we are going to have a sustainable future that offers well-being and safety for all. There is no other way that I can see. So let's take a breath. We're going to do a little reading from the Tao, and then we'll dive into this idea of living softly and embracing the feminine in your daily life. I'm checking my watch. We got about 10 minutes to go. So, take a breath. Let your eyes close. Sit comfortably but alert. And give yourself a couple of just deep, refreshing, cleansing, letting go kind of breaths. This is a feminine practice. Before we do something important, before we say something important, before we decide something important, we stop. We breathe, we slow down, and we listen. We check in. Where is my mind at today? Where is my emotional world at today? And then we settle into stillness. So focusing now on breathing out as long as you can, and then a soft inhale, centering in the stillness within you. Feel your body soften. Feel your mind soften and open. Your heart soften and open. More than 2,000 years ago, a great sage known as Lao Tzu wrote, "If you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. If you want to take something, you must first allow it to be given. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery. Just show people the results." In the passage that follows, he writes, "The Tao," which you could translate as God, Spirit, or even soul. The Tao never does anything, yet through it all things are done. If powerful women and men could center themselves in it, the whole world would be transformed by itself, its natural rhythms. People would be content with their simple, everyday lives, in harmony and free of desire. When there is no desire, all things are at peace. Now, of course, the desire they're talking about is the masculine energy of striving. Now, when I talk about masculine and feminine, it's very, very important that you do not allow your mind to slip into replacing the words with male and female. This is not about men and women. This is about all humans. And we all have these two energies. The masculine is important, essential, critical to life on earth. It is the moving, deciding, active doing force of self. It knows the power of the individual. It is comfortable with hierarchy. It tends towards exploration and conquering. And without it, none of us could really live a full life. However, for too long, decades, centuries, arguably even for the last 2,000 years, our world has become increasingly masculine in its consciousness. Masculine meaning invested in opposites, invested in the binary. Blame, judgment, control, who did it right, who did it wrong, who's first, who's last, who has more. Now, as I describe this, of course I'm characterizing and exaggerating the more harmful or less sustainable aspects of the masculine. And again, I'm not specifically referring to men. It is also true throughout history and in our society today that the masculine consciousness has prospered and spread during the dominance of male leadership, male power, and male control. But again, this is not about men and women. Many women today have absorbed this masculine dominated consciousness and are constantly seeking to do more, be more, acquire more, explain themselves, and so on. As we face this pandemic, what we have come to realize is that the extremes of masculine dominance, masculine, not male, have left us vulnerable. We look at the scientific community and the very fact that different countries around the world today are not openly sharing what they're learning about the coronavirus. The fact that resources aren't shared easily between states within a country, much less between countries. The fact that finances are again and again and again put ahead of the way people make decisions about educating or caring for or protecting others. These are all extremes of masculine expression. Again, no problem with masculine and feminine in balance. But when we find the extreme, we find ourselves vulnerable. And not vulnerable in that open-hearted, connecting kind of feminine way, but I mean dangerously at risk of extinction, at risk of violence, at risk of irreconcilable breakdown. And amazingly, that which we must embrace in ourselves, in our own lives, and in our world is a way of being that is timeless. It is the way our ancestors once lived, and it is innate to every single one of us. Every person listening is capable of this new way of being. We all possess these qualities. But I dare say that most people listening will have a great deal of shame and resistance, confusion and doubt when it comes to embracing this missing element. And this is the element of living softly, living from the feminine essence, from the feminine energy within us. This is the place in self that can go for a walk without a destination, without a time frame, without the need to measure the pace, but to just enjoy the journey. In the old days, people used to call it sauntering. And it means to Let the walk lead itself. You thought you were going to go one way, but now you go another. You thought you'd have one pace, but now you'll have another. It's curious. It's contemplative. The soft way of being means soft like it is yielding. It is flexible. It is porous. It's willing to take in ideas. It's willing to share ideas. It's rooted in observation through the heart, through the mind, through our senses. And yet, this soft way of living for most of us is the hardest change we can make. What if we don't go back to things the way they were? What if we give our feelings more place and energy in our life? What if striving is no longer the hallmark of success? What if we look at how simply we can live and all that we can live without and begin to shape a new life? What if we don't pick up everything we've been asked to put down? This is the feminine work. This is the soft way of living. And while you are in this quarantine, if that's what you're in while you're listening to this, this is the invitation of the day. How do I allow myself to let every day be a kind of exploration of mystery, a willingness to listen to the wisdom of life, the love of life, to recognize that my future is not decided by me, but my ability to surrender to something greater than me. You can call that evolution, consciousness, energy, existence. You can call it God, spirit. But the idea in the feminine principle, the soft way of living, the soft way of being, is that the nature of things is already filled, full, pregnant with love and wisdom. And that the more we strive, the more we control, the more we fear, and from that fear seek to make things happen or make people feel about us one way or another, the more we drain our energy, the more disconnected we are from the truth that is seeking its expression through us. And ironically, what do we need as we face the resistance to this feminine, softer way of being? We need a feminine, softer way of responding to the resistance, the fear, the anxiety, and the control that's going to show up and tell you no. Sitting for 2 hours in the afternoon and doodling or journaling, that's not productive. No, we need to make something out of this time so we can go back and make more, do more, be more. No. The feminine, the soft approach is like a mother to all things, a divine mother. Not the mother of, human neurosis, but that divine, abundant, nourishing energy that says to yourself, no matter what arises, it's okay. I still love you. Keep going. It's okay. You're just learning. I still love you. Keep going. It's okay. Take time to feel what you need to feel. I still love you. It's going to be all right. That is a different way of being in relationship to ourselves, each other, and the world. Don't act like the world is God's creation, that people are God's children. I think we all know how we feel about other people's children. Remember that spirit, God, energy lives inside you, lives as you. So that means everyone is your child. Every place is your home. And you yourself deserve that patient, soft, loving attention. And the extraordinary thing is that when we cultivate this for ourselves, our families, our relationships, our communities, then the masculine energy of doing and creating and making things happen is animated with such a deeply rooted sense of purpose, such a clear feeling of balance, that fear and striving need not be a part of the equation. This is what we are looking towards in a new way of being, and this is what will help us to create a new world, a new consciousness, and a new peace and place for all. So as I close, let's reread the last of the readings. It's 37 of the Tao Te Ching. I like the Stephen Mitchell version. If you like, you can take a deep breath, allow yourself to be soft and receiving. The Tao never does anything, yet through it all things are done. If powerful women and men could center themselves in it, the whole world would be transformed by itself, its natural rhythms. People would be content with their simple everyday lives in harmony and free of desire. When there is no desire, all things are at peace. So thank you for joining me again. I'll be back with another 12 at 12 tomorrow. Don't forget, we have all kinds of wonderful classes and programs at the Althea Center Denver Facebook page. Tomorrow we're doing a day-long retreat together where we're going to meditate and center and pray morning, noon, and night. Friday there's a class on why the dark night of the soul is necessary for the bright light of life. And if you haven't checked out my website, you don't know that I am giving away a 3-month course for a third of the price, and I'm going to include a copy of my new book, a 30 audio CD collection, a 8 CD download course, and a 22-minute video. It's a lot. I know a lot of people are giving stuff away today, but it's my way of offering something of meaning and value for all the wonderful people that are reaching out and connecting with me during this time of uncertainty and blossoming. So thank you again for being with me today. I love you all, and maybe I'll see some of you soon. Bye-bye.